Hey guys, Levelcap here, and today we're going to deep dive into the Battlefield 2042 gameplay trailer that just released. Highlights from the gameplay trailer include a first look at the Weapon Modding Plus system, the Assault's grappling gun, a riot shield, a complete absence of health or ammo crates, more sandstorm and tornado footage, and our first real indicator of what the in-game graphics quality will be. Now let's start off with a brand new feature seen in the gameplay trailer. DICE are introducing an on-the-fly weapon modding system they call the Plus system. It bears many similarities to the Crysis weapon modding system and lets you customize your gun without having to respawn. A plus icon on the heads-up display is shown throughout the gameplay trailer, indicating a weapon can be customized. It never appears to change states, suggesting that there probably isn't a cooldown or a specific area for changing attachments. The example they show for the plus system in use is on the K30 SMG. Here we see 3 sight options, a red dot, a magnified optic with a logo that reads JAX, and iron sights. The magazine options include a standard 25 round mag, an extended mag that probably holds 35 rounds, and a 50 round drum mag. The barrel attachments go from default to compensator and a suppressor. Finally, there's an option for no foregrip, a pistol grip, and an extended foregrip. As the player makes changes to the gun, the attachments update in real time, and it appears that there's no delay after switching an attachment. DICE's marketing also says the Plus system lets you change your ammo type, so maybe the drum and extended mags for the K30 also offer different kinds of ammo that change their damage profile. The last bit of weapon customization shown in the trailer is fire mode selection. Whenever a player aims down weapon sights with the K30 and PBX8, the Plus system icon changes to a full auto mode indicator bound to the V key. It's unclear if you can change fire modes at any time or if you have to aim down sights before you do. As for gear and gadgets, a ton of heads-up display icons are shown, but very few of them are actually used. Every player has a primary weapon, sidearm, a primary gadget, and 2 secondary gear slots. Most of the players have a rocket launcher in the secondary slot and a grenade of some kind in the final slot. Now, throughout the gameplay trailer, we see a variety of gear and gadgets being used. We also get the names of 2 specialists DICE haven't given us details for. Their names are Sundance and Delta. Sundance is the specialist with a wingsuit, and it looks like Delta is the Espinosa character from the reveal. His specialist gadget might be a riot shield. The character's model is shown in the gameplay footage running toward enemies holding a riot shield covering his entire upper body and thighs. We can also see a riot shield deployed as fixed cover in one shot, so maybe you'll be able to place the shield as well. Sundance is shown using C4 in the trailer, and the detonator has a screen on it with some very interesting text. It seems to indicate the number of C4 deployed, the range from the player, and the transmitter's maximum range. None of these values change when the C4 is detonated though, so it's tough to say if it's just flavor text or representative of actual gameplay mechanics. Also, the maximum range for the detonator is 9 kilometers, which is technically bigger than any of the maps in the game, so it's likely just flavor text. Sundance also uses his wingsuit at one point, but unlike other specialists, using this gadget doesn't highlight any of the heads-up display icons. This means the wingsuit is probably a trait that replaces the standard parachute and isn't their primary gadget. The other specialist gadget that we see a lot of is McKay's grappling gun. Like the riot shield, it seems to have infinite uses and no cooldown. The range doesn't seem too crazy. The player using it goes from the rooftop to a crane, probably a gap of about 15 to 20 meters. It doesn't seem like the player has control of their movement while in air, and it also doesn't look like you can control when the gun winches the line. So it's probably a shoot and go sort of gadget and doesn't give the player a ton of control. The reticle for the grapple also doesn't seem to indicate if a surface can be grappled onto or not, which was a feature in Hardline. We also see some other soldiers using zip lines to go between buildings. These look like they're part of level design and not something that McKay can place, but we'll just have to wait and see. As for other specialists, the trailer only hints at what their gadgets do. The support specialist, Maria Falk, has a healing gun called the S21 Surrett pistol. It can heal and revive teammates at range, but DICE also told us that she can use defibrillators on dead teammates to revive them at point blank range. This is likely an example of her combat surgeon trait, which revives teammates with full health, which might also indicate that other players can revive players, but perhaps not to full health. An interesting thing that really stood out about the gameplay trailer is we never see the classic ammo or health crates. One character automatically regens health, but that's the only time any character regains health or ammo for that matter, and it doesn't look like they got healed by anything. We also scrubbed the trailer for soldiers dropping their guns on death, but couldn't spot any. Now for the majority of the trailer, enemies don't appear to be spotted, but when a player aims directly at an enemy, the classic red marker and name badge do pop up. A compass also appears at the bottom of the screen when players ADS. This probably means there'll be a ping system and limited spotting. However, we know the recon specialist Casper can spot enemy players with their drone, and those spots appear for friendly players. Another cool feature that we get to see is the vehicle airdrop mechanic. Players will now call for vehicles via airdrop, and the example we see in the trailer is a tank. It has a parachute and landing jets that soften the impact. Falling vehicles will kill enemy soldiers, so you can drop a tank on a camping sniper to kill them if you want. Cartillery is the Battlefield 2 terminology for this mechanic, as it's actually not a first for the franchise. DICE hasn't shown exactly how the call-in system works. It might require line of sight with the drop zone, or it could just be an overhead map that lets you place the drop anywhere. As for what vehicles the game has in store, we got a good look at several. The M1A5 tank looks like a futuristic M1 Abrams with an updated turret design. Its loadout includes a 120mm smoothbore tank gun, machine gun, smoke, and self-repair. It's a 4-seater this time around, with seats for a driver, top gunner, back gunner, and spotter. For transport and light armor vehicles, the trailer shows the LATV-4 that kind of looks like an MRAP or some standard light armor transport. It has a roof-mounted machine gun and smoke utility. We briefly see the hovercraft in the gameplay trailer with a roof-mounted machine gun, and it's possibly based on the Griffin 2000, but like a shrunken version of it. I'm honestly not that familiar with military hovercraft. Finally, there's an ATV made by the real-life manufacturer Polaris. Now when it comes to the helicopters, they are heavily featured in both the reveal and gameplay trailer. We see the AH-64GX Apache Warchief, which has a rocket pack, air-to-air radar-guided missiles, flare countermeasures, and self-repair. It's a 2-seater with a pilot and front gunner. The little bird is called the M0540 Nightbird. It's a 4-seater with a pilot, spotter, and 2 crewman seats. Unfortunately, we don't get to see its loadout, but we know it has twin miniguns. A Russian Hind is shown in the reveal trailer, but there's no driver seat gameplay footage of it in the gameplay trailer. We also see a little bit more of the Hind helicopter, though nothing from the driver seat, and the same goes for the KA-52 Alligator. That being said, we do see the Hind mowing down a rooftop, and the guns look like they're shooting off axis, so it's possible that those cannons are being controlled by different players. Now the futuristic looking jet VTOL is called the MV-38 Condor. It looks like it'll offer some sort of missile salvo and has flare countermeasures. It's a 6-seater with a pilot, 3 gunner positions, and 2 passengers. The 2 jets return for the gameplay trailer, but we don't get to see any new info about them. In one shot, the Su-57's wing clips the Apache helicopter and knocks its health down a bit without actually blowing it up. All vehicles seem to have infinite ammo resupplies, which is probably great news for vehicle players that disliked Battlefield 5's resupply system. Now the community has already done a great job of identifying weapons in the reveal trailer, and I only saw a few new weapons in the gameplay trailer. The TG-24 bolt-action sniper rifle, which kind of looks like the 300 knockout from Hardline, or a Sabre M700, which is based on the Remington 700, but again, it doesn't look exactly like those weapons, so I'm gonna have to rely a bit on the community for that one. Then there's also the M44 revolver, which I think we can assume is the 44 Magnum, which at one time was the most powerful handgun in the world. Punk. We also see a new attachment for the M5A3, an underbarrel grenade launcher. Now, of course, we get to see the Tornado and Sandstorm in action, and they do look terrifying. The Tornado does in fact suck vehicles into it, and player UI seems to be largely affected when close to one. It may even be a good indicator of how close you are, letting you know at what point you're actually going to get pulled in. Visually, the game looks great, though it can be hard to see nuanced detail with YouTube compression, especially with muted color tones with grays and browns. The online timeline compression will make it hard to determine the final visual quality of the game, but it does to be on par at least with the latest games in the franchise. Adding an additional 64 players to a match is going to use a lot more resources to render properly, so I wouldn't be surprised if visually Battlefield 2042 isn't as big of an upgrade as past titles have been. And once again, it can be pretty hard to determine final visual quality when watching from a YouTube trailer. Overall, the gameplay trailer is solid and looks like a lot of fun. The footage honestly looks a lot like Battlefield 4, but with some new bells and whistles. Let me know what you guys think of the gameplay trailer. What is the most exciting new feature that you've heard about so far? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.